was about the Hurricane Sandy. Not about, I mean, it's so silly to say a work is about a hurricane. I mean, like, it was a name that landed on top of this work. So I think that's one of the hardest things I don't know how you, I'm hoping that we're going to do a Q&A thing, because I'm very curious about how, if anybody has an easy time doing titles. I think it's just so hard to get, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, even 4 words to sum up your work. Or when you hear a really good title of something that really does that, it's very inspiring, you know. So anyway, Landfall ended up to be that because it was a quartet piece of music about, in a way, about many of the stories connected to it were about loss. And so at the end of writing this whole thing was Hurricane Sandy blew into town, and in my basement there was everything, huge number of things, projectors and old sculptures and paintings and papers and all this stuff, and it was completely destroyed, you know. And water is amazing. Water is so powerful. It just shreds electronics. It just they just go into their, you know, component parts. It's really, really odd how you think it's not going to do that to that box of electronics. It does. So I lost all of these things, and at first I was like so devastated. I was like, oh, my work, you know. And a couple of days later, I just completely reversed my whole feeling about it, because I was thinking, what is down there? What was down there? For one thing, 30 slide projectors that had been connected via MIDI, a completely extinct electronic system, that I would, and I thought, when is the next time I'm going to bring these up in the basement, hook them up via MIDI, and do a show? And the answer is never. And so I began to be very grateful to have the stuff washed away, and I was very happy to and really your insurance goes, oh, look, we pay for that. So to have someone pay to clean your basement is nice. And then I started throwing all sorts of other things away, and just kind of trying to make my life simpler. My life has been about, supposedly about losing things, and yet at the same time, the experience of having, of losing things is hallucinatory and wonderful. So I'm really enjoying this experience of being lighter and trying to think of, you know, what do you want anyway? You know, what is it that you want? So I really, you know, hurricanes do that to you, you know, they will, they just kind of, and dogs too. That's why I'm making this film about the dog. Dogs make you think about what it is that you want, just because there's so much about pure love, and it's people who don't have dogs probably think that's the least thing to say, but I learned more about love from my dog than any human being, and also how to get old. I learned that from my dog too. She just got like slower, and it was just, and a lot of things from her. Anyway, so that's why I wanted to make this movie about her, and then it became about, as I said, about all sorts of other things, particularly vision, because Lola went blind, and she was not one of these good blind dogs, you know, like a lot of dogs, they're fine when they're blind. Their senses, other senses kick in into hyperdrive. Their sense of smell is like right there, their touch, their, you know, hearing, it's all, they can navigate quite well. Lola Bell just froze in place. She's like, would not move. We'd like pick her up to take her out and this kind of thing. And so I thought, what am I going to do? Like, so we found a dog trainer who said, well, I taught my dogs to play piano. And we said, you did? She said, teach our dog to play piano. So she taught Lola Bell how to play, and you'll see when you look her up. I hope you do, because you know, her Facebook page is getting lots of hits, and she played a huge number of types of things, and she would run over to the piano. This was also when Yvette said, you know what, I'm really sorry to say this, it's really time to, you have to put it down. Because she's the quality of life, and you know how when vets are like preparing to give you that, you put it down speech. I was like, you know what, I know that you want to give me this speech, and you've prepared this speech, and I know it's a useful speech, but don't give me this speech, because I'm not going to do this. So anyway,